Jai Sri Ram. Today we're going to talk about Lord Hanuman. He is one of the most powerful and beloved god in Sanathana dharma. So let's get to know him. Lord Hanuman was son of King Kesari of Kishkinda and an Apsara named Anjana. There is an interesting story of how Hanuman was born. Once upon a time, when the world was heading towards destruction and evil, kings like Ravana and other Rakshasas were ruling the human population. It was a bad time for humans. There was a lot of injustice and problems to the humankind. So Lord Vishnu decided to come down as Lord Rama and protect the human population. And that's when Lord Shiva decided to come down as well in the form of Lord Hanuman and assist Lord Rama in his mission to protect the humankind. So essentially, Lord Hanuman is an avatar of Lord Shiva. So when it was time for Lord Rama to be born, Dasharatha, the king of Ayodhya, who would become Lord Ram's father, conducted a puja called Putrakameshti. The puja was to please the gods and bless the king with a son. As a result of this puja, a magical prasad came out of the fires, and when this prasad was consumed by the mother, she would give birth to a child. Accidentally, an eagle snatched some part of the prasad and flew away. And when it flew over Kishkinda, at the same time, Anjana, who would become mother of Lord Hanuman, was meditating in the Kishkinda forest to Lord Shiva, asking him a blessing as a son. So Lord Vishnu instructed the wind god or Vayudev to snatch the prasad from the hands of the eagle and drop it in the laps of Anjana. And so the Vayudev, the wind god, did that. Now Anjana received this prasad and thought it is the god's blessing, and she consumed the prasad and she conceived Lord Hanuman. Now, since the wind god or the Vayu Bhagavan had such a big role to play in Lord Hanuman's birth, Hanuman is also known as Vayuputra, or the son of the wind god. Lord Hanuman as a kid was very naughty, and he was very powerful too, because he was Lord Shiva himself incarnated. So one day when he saw bright orange colored sun in the sky, he thought it was a mango. So he was hungry and wanted to eat the mango. So he leaped into the sky to catch the sun. And since he was powerful, he was able to do that. So the sun god got scared and asked Lord Indra to help him. Lord Indra, who saw Lord Hanuman flying towards the sun, got angry and unleashed the Vajrayudha weapon on Hanuman. Even though Lord Hanuman was powerful, he was just a kid, so Vajrayudha was powerful and it struck him down. And Lord Hanuman fell from the sky onto the earth. When he fell down, he disfigured his mouth or the jaw, and in Sanskrit, a disfigured jaw or a prominent jaw is called Hanuman, and hence he was called Hanuman. Since Lord Hanuman was naughty and powerful at the same time, he used to play with or make fun of sages and other people, as a result of which he got cursed by a powerful sage. The curse was that Lord Hanuman will forget all his powers and he will remember it only when somebody reminds him when the time was right. And that's what happened. A few years later, when he was already under the influence of Lord Rama, Jambavan reminded him of all his powers and who he really was. And that was what enabled him to jump across to Lanka and meet Sita Devi. There is a little known fact that Lord Hanuman actually had 5 brothers, real brothers. So King Kesari had 6 sons, Hanuman being the eldest. The other brothers' names were Matiman, Shrutiman, Ketuman, Gatiman, and Dhritiman. Not sure if you have noticed this, but usually Lord Hanuman is decked with an orange color all over his body, and hence the name Bajrang. The name Bajrang means orange colored or sindoor colored. There is an interesting story on how he got this name. When he was with Ma Sita, he noticed that Ma Sita had a sindoor or an orange dot applied on her forehead. When Hanuman asked Ma Sita why she wore that, she said that it's tradition, and when women wore this on her forehead, her husband would have a long life. So when Hanuman heard this, Hanuman thought, if a small sindoor on Ma Sita's forehead can have so much power, what will happen if I apply my entire body with sindoor? That would give Lord Rama infinite life. And that's what he did. He went and smeared himself with sindoor all over, and hence he got the name Bajrang Bali. Lord Hanuman is a very powerful god, and he is supposed to have Ashtasiddhi or 8 superpowers. Some of the superpowers were like he could increase his size anytime he want, or he could decrease his size to a microscopic level. He could gain weight anytime he want. He could lose weight and become like a feather anytime he wanted. And he had other abilities such as mastery over his willpower and mastery over other creatures. He could travel at the speed of light and get anywhere and any time he wanted. Basically, he was the first superhero. Your Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, everybody rolled into one superhuman. It is said that whenever you have a really rough patch, or when you are paying your karma or your debt through the effects of Lord Shani, the Saturn god according to the Vedic astrology, you should pray to Lord Hanuman for some easement of your harsh time. The story behind this is that when Ravana was all powerful, he wanted to control his own destiny, so he captured the 9 grahas or the 9 celestial planets and locked them up so that they don't influence his destiny. And in the 9 planets included Lord Shani also. So when Hanuman was in Lanka, burning up Lanka, he saw these 9 planets or celestial bodies being locked up, so he released them. And Shani was so pleased that he said, whoever prays to Lord Hanuman will have lesser effect of Lord Shani during his time. Since Lord Krishna was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and he was the charioteer of Arjuna in the Kurukshetra war, and Hanuman being a devotee of Lord Ram or Lord Vishnu himself, decided to protect the chariot of Arjuna by being on top of the chariot in the form of a flag. And he was one of the few witnesses who, along with Sanjaya and Barbari, saw Lord Krishna advising Arjuna, which eventually became the Bhagavad Gita. When it was time for Lord Rama to shed his human form and head back to Vaikunta, Lord Hanuman promised Lord Ram that he would stay back and protect the devotees. He also promised that whoever would utter the name or pray to Lord Rama, he would be there to protect them from all evil and all problems. I hope you enjoyed listening to the stories and the glories of Lord Hanuman. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you.